I will be back in 2 minutes, guys. I'm just getting the kettle. Alexa, hallway lights off. Good evening, guys. I'm here. I just had to get a wee cup of coffee. This subject has really touched my heart tonight when I seen it on somebody else's channel. Alexa, green light in the lounge, please.
Okay.
Let's just wait for a few more people then. Hopefully we'll get a few people up on the panel because this is true about the world. It is going crazy, guys. But 2020 around the corner and we've gone crazy already. So sorted. Your channel. Yes, I've got I just wait for a few people to come in, guys. Hopefully the messages shared out. They've received their emails. Good evening, guys. We're going to be setting up a panel with discussion about talking why the world has gone crazy. Talk about global changes because of people using the motor cars and things like that as well tonight. Don't want to offend drivers or anything, but it isn't their fault that the man who invented the car didn't realise, like, nearly 100 years ago that today it was going to damage the ozone layer. You know what I mean? So I think it was 100 years ago since the motor car was invented. I'll get somebody to correct me if I'm wrong, but there we go. Hello.
Hello.
We're almost coming up in a wee bit.
Yeah, I was just watching his live from earlier on.
Yeah.
But I was finishing my tea.
Oh, that was lovely, by the way. Thank you very much.
It's alright.
You got a good cook there.
Yeah, I know.
You got to say that or I should have hit you.
Not really, no.
No, she is a good cook, right?
Yeah, I'd be lost about that.
I just want a few people that it's just like that vegan realist was talking about the world and the fires and everything like that. But I was talking to Lewis last night about the cars and everything going crazy, damaging the environment. It's all to do with the environment because we've been damaged it with toxins and all that over the years.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to upset any motorists, you know, but it ain't your fault that a guy 20 years, maybe 100 years ago now, who invented the motor, didn't realise that it was going to damage the environment 100 years later.
Yeah. Premier House just went live.
I know, I just seen that.
Yeah, I kind of caught the end of Womble's live there, but I couldn't quite understand what he was talking about, really.
I was talking about music and all that.
Yeah, I got that part. Now, I shared this link out, so before I came on.
What's going on, guys? Well, the subject says it all. We're talking about the crazy world we live in 2020. Because it has gone really crazy, eh?
Oh, yeah.
So last night I was on a panel at 3 o'clock in the morning and I was talking about the environment getting destroyed by toxins, and then that's the reason we're having all this dry weather in different countries, and then it causes fires and everything.
I got it. Yeah.
That's why we're talking about this tonight. And it was sparked up by Jennifer's son there. She'll probably pop in a little bit.
Jesus. You hearing that wind outside?
Yeah. I've called it Hurricane Spiky.
Hope it calms down anyway.
I can hear it through the chimney breast, eh?
I just had it out because a loft, well, not a loft, but a window in the roof just beside where I am.
Or a window.
Yeah, I've got a skylight in the roof.
Yeah.
But it's just in the top hall here, so I can hear it.
I'm going to get one of those insert things which go in there, you know. If I can't have an open fire, I'm just going to get one of the insert fire things.
Yeah, we've got a freestanding electric one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just, Womble said he would come up for half an hour, so. Because this sort of subject, you could talk to. Sorry! No, coming up! I just seen that in the basement. Put that flag away! You know, coming
We were trying to put attention for about 2 minutes.
I've done that for about 2 minutes. For about 2 minutes, and I thought I'll get a flag out. You noticed that? You did. Anyway, I'll let Womble sit here because, like you said, it's more of a chat of a Womble kind, isn't it?
So, how are you tonight, people?
All right.
Good. Did you see me a couple of videos earlier on?
I caught the end of your last one there, yeah.
Yeah, I've done a short one on my passion, which is music. So,
and I saw the one from earlier on as well, yeah.
What the consequences one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Anyway, Haggis, we listen to what you have to tell us.
Go on.
Well, Vegan Realist was talking about the fires and everything, and then Lewis was talking about the environment causing all that. So that kind of sparked off this subject, which I thought of. And obviously, Matt's seen the conversation last night as well, which I was saying, if man hadn't invented car, we wouldn't be in this predicament in the first place, you know? It's basically true, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I quite agree. We could sit here and argue the toss about whether climate change is all our fault, right?
Yeah.
Or we've not helped the situation. We know that the climate, the biosphere changes over time. It does. It's been doing it for millions and billions of bloody years, for God's sake. But you know, with us, as you say, in the Industrial Revolution was invented, and we started burning stuff that nature had locked up underground for a reason, because it weren't supposed to be used.
Yeah.
Obviously, from that point on, things were going to go a bit weird. You know, early on it was burning. I mean, first off, we started burning wood, so cutting down trees, which is not a good idea. Then it was coal. Then it was oil. Now, if you think coal generally was kind of buried in the shallow part of the crust, if you like. So it was quite easy to get at. Oil was slightly harder, although still fairly easy. But nature locked it away for a reason, because it was waste product.
Yeah.
You know, so that's where we've gone wrong. Some people might argue that it all started with the dawn of agriculture. And because instead of walking around chasing buffalo and bison and whatever, running around with your spears and your bows and arrows, whatever, we settled down. We started building cities. So we started congregating in larger and larger numbers. Previous to that, I mean, what would the average tribe be? A couple of hundred people, probably, in an average tribe that would be nomadic in general terms. And then we stopped, and then we started domesticating certain animals, and then we had them living in very close proximity with us, which led to the birth of diseases probably that had never been seen before. You know, because all that waste has caused a problem.
Do you think, though, that originally, with the CO2 and everything, and the emissions, if you really actually think about it, do you not think it goes back to when they first went to visit, to put the first man on the moon with the rockets and that?
When you talk CO2 as part of the greenhouse gases, right? There's many of them. Right? It's not just CO2. People always concentrate on the CO2 thing, but there's more to it than that. So if we just take atmospheric CO2, if we are to believe the scientists that way back in the dawn of time, we had about 250 parts per million of carbon dioxide, which was a kind of natural level caused by volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, whatever. And it stayed like that for a long time. So what it enabled stuff to do, it enabled variations in temperature rise and temperature crashes. So you would have a period of warm times and then a period of cold. So you go from really hot to really cold. So you would have ice ages. So that was like the natural cycle, which caused human beings eventually to have to, if the ice started coming down from the north, you had to move south. Then when the ice went, you could come back north. So the idea was that as the animals migrated, we went with them. That was what we did for tens of thousands of years. And then, so millions ago, we invented fire, which probably was like the thing that made us in modern humans. Because once we learned to control fire, we were able to cook food. So that set us on the path to a larger brain, for God's sake. Stuff like that. So we started to look at things differently, but we were still hunter-gatherers. So, so if you follow forward, other things like methane would come into play, or methane, however you want to say it. Water vapor is another greenhouse gas. Sulfur dioxide, all the hydrocarbon stuff. So there's a whole manner of stuff which causes the warming problem. Now, up until a point, the CO2 concentrations, say just before the Industrial Revolution, were around about 300 parts per million. So we'd increased it, say, by 50 parts per million over a 50,000 year time period, say, for argument's sake. That's simply because we learned to burn stuff. So we cleared areas by burning. So obviously added a bit of CO2, but not on any massive scale, because there weren't that many people about. If we're to believe the people that know this stuff, then the human population around the ending of the last ice age was about 500 million. This is what they say on the whole globe. I mean, people by this time had spread across the whole globe. That's a fact. But if you go from that point, so we'll call it 10,000 years ago, and you come to the Industrial Revolution, the population hit about 1 billion, give or take. So we've gone 300,000 years to reach the first 500 million, and 10,000 years approximately to reach 1 billion. Now, if that's right, the other 6.8 billion people have been added in the last 200 years. And obviously, any species, doesn't matter what the species is, if you was to take, say, rabbits, right, their numbers, as we know, can expand quite rapidly. We know this. So they overshoot their environment. They use all the resources. Everything around them goes quickly because they've got a larger population to support. So what happens is the predators increase their numbers as well because there's extra food supply. More rabbits, more foxes, more wolves, whatever. But as soon as the predators have taken care of the overpopulation of rabbits and the rabbit numbers decline rapidly, probably lose about 80% of the population in a short time, so too the predators go down. The only problem is, with the human race, we have no natural predator. Mm-hmm. So our numbers have been allowed to expand beyond any reasonable carrying capacity. So obviously we've built cities, we're burning carbon, all the carbon out of the ground. Now obviously that's going to have an effect on where the atmosphere goes. Mm-hmm. You've increased it from, say, the 300 million or 300 parts per million to the official figure about 415 parts per million, which doesn't sound a lot, but it is. And then when you add in methane, sulfur dioxide, water vapor, sulfite particles, you probably, the equivalent is probably somewhere nearer to a greenhouse effect of about 1,000 parts per million. Now, people are saying that if we look at the truth about the 1.5 degree thing, which was the Paris Climate Accord, people that are more knowledgeable than I am on this subject are saying, look, we probably passed that 20 years ago. But I'm not sure what year it was. It wasn't very long ago, although it was known of before, but it came before a few years back. What happened is some scientist was in Israel or something like that, in the desert area, doing a study on evaporation.
Yeah, I remember that.
Right. And what he discovered is that the evaporation was all out of sync. So we thought, well, what's causing that? So we know the planet is warming. Yet what we were trying to do, working, as he anticipated. So he came up with the hypothesis of what's called the global dimming. They made a documentary about it. Its proper name is the aerosol masking effect. So you've got the double whammy. So basically what's happening is you've got CO2 and the other gases forming like a blanket, which when the heat gets in, it can't get out. So that's the global warming. But at the same time, sulfite particles from burning coal form an umbrella above that. So the heat can't get in. Mm-hmm. And what heat gets in can't get out. So some of the heat's reflected, some of it getting in. So as Guy McPherson would say, if you took the aerosol masking effect away, which if you shut down industrial civilization, that would cause that because you stop burning coal, so that the particles in the air would fall out and not be replaced. So at that, he would say that you're probably already at 3.5 degrees above pre-industrial, or even higher. And he says if the aerosol masking effect is actually taken away, and the damage it's done to the ozone layer, I mean, there's reports already that we've got, what's the radiation? I'm trying to think of it now. The ultraviolet stuff, UV radiation.
Yeah.
In some parts of the world, you've got UVC part radiation hitting the ground. Now, they said that wouldn't happen for hundreds of years. We know that UVA has always been around because it causes sunburn when you go out. UVB is a slightly higher version, but UVC is the ultimate killer. That UVC is capable of altering the DNA of creatures, big scale. So if they're right that that's actually happening, then something is obviously wrong. You can't hide away from it. If we're getting readings of UVC on the surface, then something is drastically wrong somewhere. It's got to be. I mean, you cannot. If the ozone layer was fully intact globally, UVC wouldn't get through. There's no way. The ozone would never allow it to happen. So when people used to talk the ozone hole many years ago, but the hole, yeah, it's a different thing. But could the ozone layer be breaking down slowly, where it's allowing, where there's areas of thinness, ultra thinness, so it's lost by 80%?
I would say yes, because everything breaks down over time.
Yeah, so obviously that is going to happen. So as that breaks down more increasingly, and we get to the point where we get increases of UVC here, there, and everywhere else. So you eventually get it in the cities, which they aren't at the moment. So what is going to be the consequences? See, I always look at it this way, right? UVC is the most dangerous form of ultraviolet. Now, the next stage up from that is X-rays, and then gamma. So if the ozone layer completely goes, which would be catastrophic on a scale I can't even imagine. I wouldn't even want to think about that. So if we were to start suddenly having X-ray radiation, and then gamma radiation, at what point does anybody think we can't become extinct?
Yeah.
Because it will just cook the world. You'll go outside, you'll be fried.
Well, I say, I mean, there's a thin layer round outside of the world,
Yeah.
which keeping all the stuff in,
Yeah.
for us to breathe. If that gets a hole in it or something, we're dead.
Well, two things protect the planet: the magnetic field and the ozone layer.
Mm-hmm.
Either one of them goes, and it's game over. There's you can't say, oh, look, that belt goes, and you're done. The ozone layer goes, and we got problems.
Have you got any input on this?
Sorry.
I'm just listening there.
Yeah, we're going to have to go in a minute because I'm up early for work.
Yeah.
And did you know there's been an earthquake, 6.4 earthquake in Puerto Rico, and many aftershocks.
Oh my goodness, Puerto Rico's again.
Yeah.
So Puerto Rico's,
6.4.
they're never going to recover. Puerto Rico, it's finished.
It's not that country.
But
Right.
you know, at the end of the day, if man hadn't invented car, that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah. Again, that's
Right.
exacerbated a problem.
You're right, Haggis.
Which the car, the minute we started burning fossil fuel and we invented transport which burned fossil fuel, we're on a downward spiral. So we can argue that the climate would have changed anyway, regardless. That's a given fact. Yes, the climate would have changed at some point, but it might not have been as quick as it's happening.
Yeah.
So
On that point, though, when I'm changing across to the electric cars, I think that would just be as bad at some point.
well, again, see, this is a subject when they talk about everything going green energy, right? I'll put this forward before I say this. Tomorrow on RT television, there's going to be a documentary starting on the green energy line.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so that might be worth watching. I'm going to watch it. Right, green energy. What is green energy? It's a nonsense. It is not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You still need to destroy the environment on a huge scale to get the rare earth minerals to make the batteries for the cars.
Yeah.
And have you seen the videos of the destruction of the environment in China where they're digging the rare earth minerals out?
Yeah, I've seen something on that.
It's ridiculous. They're just stripping mountains away using these massive great diggers. You see the size of these things? They're like monsters.
Yeah.
You know, and they're just devastating the land for the sake of getting some minerals out of the ground to make batteries. So I'm sorry, but electric cars ain't going to cut it.
I think so. A lot of things that need batteries are going to go.
No, that's it.
You've got any batteries, isn't it?
So,
Yeah.
I look at it this way, and I've always stood by this since I went down this rabbit hole 25 years ago and started digging into all this nonsense, and it leads you off on a sidetrack. So you go and you learn something else, and it just adds to the problem. I wish I'd never bothered, seriously, because you just think, my God, what have we done?
Yeah.
You know, and there's no getting away from it. People think, oh, we can go off and look. We're at the end. There is no way you can sustain this civilization as it stands at the moment. Now, whether the entire human race goes extinct or not, I don't know. I've no clue on that. It could do. But I would posit, and I've always said that from what I've studied and from what I've researched, my own opinion, and this is my own opinion, other people have got other opinions on it.
That's it, a minute.
But
No, you said a
look,
half an
I've
hour.
always said, in my estimation, just by what I know, I've always said that industrial civilization, as it stands, will not see 2021. And what's occurring now, politically, economically, all the rest of it, it looks like I might be right, because things are starting to unravel now. There's so much coming out now that could drag the entire thing down. The debt can never be repaid. I mean, I've been watching this stuff in the last few days, and some of the experts in the financial world are saying that all the debt in the world will have to be defaulted on because you can't pay it back. So if they default on the debt, every currency's gone. All the debt's gone, obviously, but so are the currencies.
Yeah.
So the pound, the dollar, the yen, whatever, they've all gone. If they default the debt, if every country is forced to default its debt, they're broke. There's nothing left. So that could crash the system because all they're doing at the moment is printing counterfeit notes. There's no backing of it. It's not real money. It's just that people think that if you get a £10 note, it's money. It's not. It's a promissory note. It's not money. It's a promissory note to pay you £10, and that was in silver or gold. That's what it was.
Tell you what film we're going to watch.
We're going to watch Wonder Woman because it's got Gal Gadot in it. So
Yeah, and I've seen the Maxine's video that she's got DVD rights. Now I know she's into
Sorry?
the whole movies.
people
I
like
just say
the Heart of
something.
Zany, One World Order. Yeah, well, the one world order ain't going to work. It's finished.
Right, Haggis, what is she saying? Sorry.
Now we know why you got two mobile phones because you're selling the knockoff DVDs now.
Yes.
Rewrites in a bag. Ooh, a bit fishy.
Hey, what DVDs?
When you showed in the mechanic yesterday, you said a
Oh,
knockoff DVD. But I've just had a message from Lindsay come through on my video, and she says people think it's all tinfoil hat wearing stuff,
that's Lindsay. That's the one that sent it.
but it's not. You know, you have to wake up to the fact and realise that we've run a system for 269 years based on fossil fuels. Right, it started with coal, and it's ending up with oil.
Yeah, and
Now,
you do commenting on everything tomorrow, Lindsay.
You-
It agrees with you, don't you?
you could say we could build 100 million windmills, or billion windmills, or 2 billion, or trillion windmills, whatever. We could fit 10 trillion solar panels everywhere.
Yeah.
But it is not. It might give you electricity on a small scale,
But then they run off of batteries as well. So
but you will not have transport without oil. Transport relies on oil. It cannot be done without oil, because oil makes the tires, it makes all the rubber seals. Basically, a car is basically made of oil.
Yeah.
A bus is made of oil. Without it, you can't run it. And people think, oh,
Well, so are all the parks as well.
yeah. I mean, it's so. Where do you go? If oil was to become unobtainable because it runs out, or it becomes too expensive to be used for the average person, right? At the moment, I've just heard that oil's hit $70 a barrel and going skywards.
Yeah.
Now, if it was to go 100, 120, 130, 140, 150 dollars per barrel, it's going to reach a point where it's going to be too expensive to do anything. You know, if we was to say, heaven forbid, if it ever hit $200 per barrel, because you would not be able to afford to buy the petrol to run your car, because you're looking at sort of like 15 quid a gallon. Who's going to be able to afford 15 quid a gallon for petrol? It's nonsensical. So oil drives our civilization. Without oil, our civilization will collapse.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether it will be completely extinct, it's not really there. But numbers of people will decline because you can't get the energy anymore, and it stems into the Jevons paradox, right? This economist in the 19th century, I can't remember his full name, Jevons, and as he said, when a government or a company makes something more efficient, so it uses less of the energy than before, the paradox is, what happens is there's an increased demand for the product that's more efficient. So then, because you brought more of that product, which is efficient, the demand for the energy to drive it goes up. So you reach a paradox. So you've made the thing efficient, but people say, well, when I had one light bulb before, now there's efficient light bulbs, I can go and buy 5. But the energy demand to drive those 5 light bulbs goes up exponentially. So the idea of the energy efficiency is gone. So you're using more of the resource, the energy resource, to drive it. And that's the paradox. It goes completely. So, and you use the resources at a greater rate, at a quicker rate. Now, if we was to say, I've always used the light bulb as an example. If we was to have stayed with the incandescent light bulb, the demand for energy would not have gone up like it has. But since the advent of energy-saving light bulbs, the demand for energy to power them has gone up 200%. So you buy them and you think, oh, saving money. Well, you're not, because if the idea that you were using energy-saving devices actually worked, then your bills for the fuel would go down. But they don't, they're always going up because the demand for the energy increases. So all the companies that supply you with electricity are having to buy more of the oil or whatever to power the electric stations that supply you with the energy. So there's no saving anywhere. It's a myth. It's ridiculous. So you just spend more and more, and everybody runs around to, oh, we need more and more oil. So we've got to go fracking. We've got to go do the tar sands in Canada. Whatever, we've got to make more and more and more and more oil, coal, and everything, because there's a massive increase in demand for energy. So where is the saving? Just that's the nonsense we live in. And yet people fall for it. Think, oh, we're saving energy. No, you're not. All you're doing is increasing the demand for it because you've got more gadgets to power. I mean, if you go back to the 1960s, what was in the average house in the early 60s or late 50s, early 60s?
You've got a TV.
Yeah, you might have a TV, black and white generally, or some of the people might be lucky enough to have a colour.
TV ones.
More tellies. You know, a 24-inch telly or something like that. What else would be in the house? Maybe a washing machine. I mean, I still remember my mum with her twin tub. You know,
Maybe a bath, but that was a cast iron bath.
Yeah, and you'd have a cooker of some kind.
Yeah.
So it would either be electric or it would be gas. So you use energy. You might have a radio in the house.
Yeah, Heart of Zenny's just said radio.
Yeah, so if you were lucky enough, you might have some kind of music system which could play a record and a tape and all the rest of it. But that's what you had. Now, think of the average house. What's in an average house now? We've got more gadgets than you can know what to do with. So what happens? It demands energy.
Yeah.
So the increase is up, and people can't get this into their head. They're told. So you're told that you must have, as I say, the light bulb again. You must buy energy efficient light bulbs at a cost of about £6 or £7 a time.
If not more.
What if not more? But the energy level goes up because people buy more of them and think, oh no, and I filled my house with gadgets. I mean, look at me alone. I've got bloody amplifier, a CD player. We've got the computer. We've got this, that, and everything else, and it all takes energy.
Mm-hmm.
And the demand keeps going up and up and up and up. It doesn't ever go down. It up and up and up. So, and then because you've done that, you've made life comfortable to people. So you introduce these amazing stuff to other countries, which at one time never had the stuff. Let's take Africa, for example. So you say to the Africans, we'll build you power stations and we'll supply you with electricity. So all of a sudden, you've now got another few million people using energy that before they never had.
There's a good person actually ask about this. Is my Helen my way? Because she was in a van and she's got to use solar power.
Yeah, you will. I mean, don't get me wrong. Wind power, I think, is a non-starter because it has bearings and it needs grease, which is made of oil. So that's a non-starter anyway. So forget that. But I think that solar power can play a part in producing electricity.
It's like what Lindsay said. You need a new one every year by intentional design.
Yeah, so
Yeah, but then you need to burn fossil fuel to make the glasses as well.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you there are ways it can be done synthetically. So, but that's a problem to be solved later on.
Yeah.
But
so you're not really using solar
no.
power.
But ultimately, the only way out, and we know this technology exists, is 0 point energy.
Yeah.
We know it exists, right? But they won't let you have it. But when the system collapses, if there's anybody out there that knows about the 0 point, and there are plenty of people out there who know all about 0 point energy, in say maybe 10 or 15 or 20 years' time, if we're all still around, maybe there might be zero energy devices you buy or whatever. And literally, then you've got free energy for life. That's it, done. You just sit it in the corner and it does. So you connect it up to your electric wires and then you're away. That's it. But they won't ever release it commercially because they can't make any money out of it. Because
the thing with that is, then you're going to get a lot of people living off the grid.
Yeah.
So they're not going to get the power.
Yeah, the grid will go down. The grid will go down. Once the unsustainable Ponzi scheme, industrial revolution and stuff goes down, there won't be no power grid. There won't be anything. There'll be no running water. There'll be no flowing gas. There'll be no electricity coming in the house. It's gone. You know, people think it never happened. Look, you need to wake up. It's done. It's on its last legs. That's why the powers that be are desperate.
Diesel guys calling you shiny head.
Again.
Yeah.
So basically, that's where we are. And I always try to say to people, look, it's people say, oh, you're a dupe. Look, it's not dupe. You should know this information. All it's going to be, unless something takes us out completely, like a nuclear war, no thing. But if we're still around after the collapse of the empire, there's no new empire coming to replace it. Right? That's a given. There might be smaller countries that do their own thing, but the idea of empire has gone. We are living in the last empire. That's it. We've had empires throughout history, the last 10, 12,000 years. We are in the dying throes of the last ever human empire. It's done. So I say we're going to enter a new dark ages. Now, what does that mean? I don't really know. I don't know what the other side's going to look like because we're not there yet. But when we get there, it's going to be you that sorts you out.
Mhm.
It's down to you. There's no government going to come and fix it. There might be a few charlatans coming. If you allow me, the minute this time round, if anybody comes and promises you I can fix this, walk away, because they can't. There's always charlatans who come up and say, "Oh,
I say hi to you."
yeah, hello, I couldn't sort this out." But bear this in mind. Once this paradigm goes, whether it's this year, next, doesn't really matter. It's 10 years. It's irrelevant. It is going away, and it ain't coming back anytime soon. So, what you do after that event is down to you. You are responsible, right? As a human being, you are responsible for sorting yourself out. And if you're the kind of person that is one of the dummies, or one of the herd that just believes everything the government says, you're going to die. That's the only way to put it. Unless you can develop some skill set of some kind, don't know what it is, you are gone. You know, and I firmly believe that the human population will collapse within the next 50 years.
Mhm.
It's unsustainable. There's no, as we said before, the biggest problem is going to be water. That's it. When this thing happens,
All right, Diesel guy, thank you.
the very first thing that you need to do
Oh, you get your hoodie.
at the collapse is find a drinkable water supply. That's it. Nothing else matters. After the event, the first thing on your mind's got to be water. That's it. End of story. Everything else after that, you can deal with.
Well,
But
the
you've
first last thing anybody would go for is water.
Yeah, but that's what you've got to do. You will not survive without water. You've got to find a water supply. Now, whether you have to set up a system to, make fresh water yourself from stagnant water, that's the. If you can find a stream that's good, that's brilliant. But you've got to find a clean water supply. Forget food, forget shelter for the first couple of days.
Mhm.
Water is the most pressing thing you've got to do. I always impress it with you. You cannot impress it on people enough. You must find in anything that ever goes wrong, be what it may, you've got to find a clean water supply. Otherwise, you're dead in 3 or 4 days.
Oh, Diesel guy says he's been naughty. It's a chocolate cake.
Chocolate cake. Yeah.
Can't say they too many sheep.
There are the most of the population of this planet are asleep at the wheel, mate. I mean, they've no clue. They walk around every day thinking things are going to go on forever. Look, history tells us things don't last. You've only got to look at it. We think we've got a handle on things. Trust me, people, we don't. We haven't got a clue. We've certainly not got a handle on the situation.
Oh,
If we do, so that's where we are. And I sometimes dream about, I wish it would happen when I wake up tomorrow, because once the government's gone, then it's down to me. I don't have to sort of rely on the government. What's that? I don't have to rely on the government to supply me stuff, and I don't have to worry about going down to Tesco to get the food. I can go and find my own food without interference from some bureaucrat.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it. But that's what we did for 290,000 frigging years, for Christ's sake. We could say, oh, we are highly Homo sapien, right? The wise ape. What? Wise? Are you kidding me? I agree with Guy McPherson. Homo calidus, the clever ape. Oh, we're clever. We're too clever for our own bloody good. By a long way. Or as somebody else put it, Homo pyrus or something. Fire starters. But people who think the system can go on, look, you're living in a fantasy land, people. It's not going to last. It can't. It's the whole world is in debt up to its eyeballs. We've got poverty on a scale never seen before in human history. And every day you wake up and there's something new going on which catches people on the hop. We've got people protesting in half the world's countries. So what do people think's actually going on? People are out there in countries, they can't grow food anymore. They've got no water.
The whole saying is just, thank God I found people in a similar way.
So people in countries,
Oh,
People in some of these countries are getting desperate. So what do? They go somewhere where there's food and water. So what do? They all come in. They all come to the industrialised West because we are at the moment still up and running. But at what point, with all people with climate refugees coming from all over the place, at what point does it overstress our system? What we've got, and it falls apart.
mhm.
Ain't long. You've got to realise that any area, any environmental area, has a carrying capacity. It has a certain amount of resources which the people in that particular area can use. If you overburden that area with triple the population, how long do you think the resources will last? People don't realise that. We need resources, and the most vital resource is water.
Is that the heart said they're sedated?
Yeah, they are. Well, I feel sorry a lot of Americans because they're on more narcotic drugs than anybody else. But you know, you got to look at the reality. We are an animal that lives on a planet, like every other animal. Which we are just another animal, a higher order animal.
Whose birthday is it out there?
So
Diesel guy's son is 16.
Bashful.
my world, my way, Helen. I think I'm on the wrong channel here. Top of that. You know, but I always
Don't
try.
get to see them all like this.
When I talk about this sort of stuff, I always try to inject a bit of humour into it. Think, oh, you know,
These are guys said, "Are we on Womble's channel?"
what the fuck? So I will go now
So I've invited Womble as my guest.
and leave
Yeah.
people at that. But you know, realise this is where we are. Make the most of the time of the system that's left.
Before
You I'll
happy
tell you,
birthday on the panel to Bashful.
the system is still up and
I
running.
didn't hear what you just said.
Sorry.
What was that, Angus?
Can we sing happy birthday to Bashful on the panel?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
You know Bashful, don't you?
Yeah, all I would say to anybody out there listening to this rant is use the resources of the system while it's still up and running. Take as much out of it as you possibly can, be what that may, and use it to your benefit while it's still there. Once it's gone, you'll find yourself, you'll be set. Now, whatever resources you want to take is entirely up to you. That's up to you. My whole key is I'm going to start preparing a water distillation system in the next year or so that if the water stops, I can get water. That's it. That's my main priority. After that, it's whatever I need. But I'll use the resources of the system while it's there, copper tubing and all that sort of shit. That's what I sort of use a bit
How old is Bashful?
time.
Yeah.
So I would say and then think about where you are as an individual.
Helen
What-
said that's why she moved out of the house
Yeah.
to my people telling me what to do.
So
Yeah.
I'll say, everybody out there, check out your immediate surroundings. What is around you? Is there a river? Is there a stream? Is there decent arable land to grow stuff? Are there animals roaming around in woods anywhere? So I would say just check out your environment within a 3-mile radius of where you are, and make notes of what's there. Do a survey of where you are, and find out what you could utilise after the event happens. But don't think to that, because the government will fix it. It's all this testing. So that's all I'll say. Study your local area. I mean, when you're up in Scotland, there's obviously a lot of stuff up there. You know, so you've probably got a lot of good resources around where you are.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. So you're off to a 40-50% start anyway. Because you've got good land up there, still got good running water here and there, you know, rivers, streams, probably a good few lakes.
Heart
Here he is
said-
again, guys. Bashful's on the chat now.
That's it.
Wendy says try practicing shooting.
So Heart saying he's in Yorkshire. We're in Chesterfield.
You're Derbyshire, so we're just down the road.
Derbyshire, yeah, he's just down the road from us.
Ow!
So
I look at your channel tomorrow.
anyway, I'll get off because I'm going to have a glass of wine and watch
That's
film.
it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for inviting me up, Haggis.
It's a pleasure.
Welcome.
And I've always said, if we can wake just a single person up, and then he can wake another person up, and they can wake another person up, we might get somewhere.
Bashful, happy birthday,
But
16.
it's an uphill struggle. But I've got this philosophy. If I thought that where I am at the moment was a resource negative place,
No.
then I'll move and find somewhere where there's a resource positive.
She said my dad was born there. Where was she born?
You know.
Chesterfield. Or he?
So if the shit did hit the fan and the system collapsed, and I'd have to look around. And if it
In the chat, please. Let
Oh,
us all
this
away.
guy's good.
Let us away. It's going to have to be moved because that's.
Haggis!
Sorry, I guess I've just done that for you.
Yeah,
So-
sidetracked there because somebody put a rude flag up.
So
Yay!
no problem. I'll tell you what, Gareth and Haggis, I've always said to myself,
Yay!
if where I am at the moment, if the system collapsed at any point, and where I'm at the moment, which I've checked out a few areas, there are a few resources.
My dad
around
is
here.
from Chesterfield.
Yeah, there are a few resources around here, but not as many as I'd probably like. But
Tampton Vale.
if it really got serious and it become a problem being here or wherever else, then I firmly believe the best place to head for 3 places that I know have got an abundance of resources. One is Scotland.
Sorry, Diesel guy, I've got to remove number.
Another one is the New Forest in Hampshire, and the other one is North Wales.
Yeah.
Because they have got an abundance of resources.
Yeah.
So that would be, if I had to do it, I'd get up and walk out, and that's it. I'd be heading for one of them.
Anyway, Ian wants to change his name at some point, don't you, on the YouTube, rather than just being Kirkwood.
The Richard, I think.
I don't know. Maybe he was thinking about if you two can get up any ideas what to call his channel,
Yeah.
rather than just Ian Kirkwood. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think you only know 2 words.
Okay.
So
Okay, I did email it. Yeah.
So, right,
yeah.
The link's in the chat.
Yeah, and I did email it to him.
But we got to go now anyway.
yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll bring this. What we'll do next time on my one is try and sort of think about how to utilise local resources. That's a good way to do. You know, try and put it out to people instead of saying, "Oh, let's say to people, look, if you're somewhere, as I said, check out your local area. What resources are there?"
Yeah.
But say,
Any ideas from you guys as
the
well?
number one is water. Forget everything else for the first 2 or 3 days. You must get water because you're not going to survive without it. That's the given. We can survive weeks without food.
Uh-huh.
But you
Are
can't
we
without
going to
water.
meet Bashful?
So
Yeah.
Let's just
I
meet Bashful when he comes
say
out.
where Gareth, where you and Haggis are, perfect area. I mean, you know the area.
Yeah.
I bet you've never thought of actually taking an inventory of what's there. You know, go out around about with a pen and pad, note what's there.
Yeah.
You know, I've always said that to people, go around, just walk around. What forests have you got? Are there wooded areas?
We've got loads of forestry around about us.
Yeah. So that's what you've got to do. Check what is within that area. Are there animals there? Is there rabbits, hares?
Yeah, we've got deer, foxes,
Yeah.
hares.
Exactly. So you've got the resources there. You do.
And Helen's got a spring there.
See, again, you've got a spring. Ideal, that's your water. So I encourage people to do this. Check out your local area within a 3-mile radius, roughly.
Ours
So-
comes from the Tay, I think, believe it or
Yeah,
not.
yeah, it would. But that's what I say. Check out what sort of vegetation's growing, what sort of fruit's growing
Mm-hmm.
where you are, because all that will keep you alive. That's all you need.
Well, we have brambles, wild brambles, and
Yeah.
things.
Really good stuff. It's stuff that will keep you alive. It will keep you alive.
Right.
That's it. You know, because when there's no more Tesco's, what are you going to do?
Break my cup, I'll break you.
You know,
haven't you?
The one thing about human beings, in our DNA and somewhere in the back of our brain, is still the ancient brain,
Good
the
job.
hunter-gatherer, scavenger that's there. We need to rediscover that. It's there. You just need to reawaken that part of it. That's what we are: hunter-gatherer, opportunist, scavengers.
Yeah.
You know, we don't. All this stuff we've got, we don't actually need it. We say, oh, it's nice to have it, but you're surrounded by stuff you do not actually need. You know, your survival doesn't revolve around the television
No,
or the hi-fi system
I never watched the TV hardly.
or the computer or whatever.
Sorry, hold on. Sorry,
Your survival depends on what you do.
What's that, Agus?
What is it?
Oh, it's Bashful. Hello, Bashful.
Hello, Bashful.
It's nice to meet you. Happy birthday, mate.
Right?
Happy birthday.
Hello.
It's Bashful, don't you?
Yeah, I remember speaking about it. Well, anyway,
Yeah, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
I've had my rant thanks to Wandering Haggis. I'm going to sign off.
Yeah,
Watch me film.
Yeah, you can fight. Come up whenever you fight in fight.
Right, I'm only up here for a minute to say thank you to everyone.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You're welcome, Bashful.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going. I will say good night to everybody out there.
Yeah, we're not going because you're coming.
Mike,
Yeah.
Haggis, Helen, whoever.
Anyway.
Janie.
Right.
Good night, everyone.
We was just here for half an hour. That was
And
an hour
may your
ago.
God go with you. So
Yeah, but you know when
anyway,
started half an hour, usually goes to 2 hours, and 3 hours.
I know, but I've got to get up early for work in the morning.
that's it.
But what he is going to do tomorrow is going to go on the
You
computer.
can go on the internet, you can go
Right. Bye, everyone.
Bye,
Bye.
bye. Bye, Bashful.
All right, we're out of there.
Yeah, like,
Right.
Right. Bye, everyone. Bye.
All right.
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 Yeah, no, you don't
Yeah,
kiss me. Right.
Maxine,
Yeah.
if you want to go to bed early, it doesn't mean Womble has to. It could
No,
buy
that's true.
right.
That's true, but I'm not going to bed early. I want to watch a film before I go to bed.
Hey, strip it off.
Yeah, it's hot. Oh, it's hot. Yeah. Anyway, like I was saying, right, I'm going to show you now to go on the computer tomorrow to catch up with people's videos and give their comments. And it's nice meeting Heart of Saying as well. We'll look her up tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sat here. I'm debating whether to keep this beard now or not. It's beginning.
Is it beginning to irritate
Yeah,
you?
a bit.
I'll get rid of it
I
then.
might get rid of it.
Get rid of it.
No, keep it. It's on manhood.
What I might do on Thursday? There's a place down in town that does shaving because this is too much for me razors now. So
Yeah, get your shave off for you.
I'll go and have the shave off.
Because
And then,
they ask them to use some stuff for being delicate on your face, isn't it?
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Sensitive, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, get it
I
done.
think it's only about £4 or £5 for a shave, so
Yeah.
I'll do that. Anyway, we will go.
I know I tried to get a word in when he was speaking, when we was going, but he did say it's only going to be half an hour. He did
It's been
say
an
that.
hour, but anyway. So I hope that in this rant we've woken a few more people up out there because
Yeah.
people need to get woken up. Seriously.
Yeah.
Thanks, my husband was from the 80s at the school.
Hi, says, hi, Max. Thank
It's
you.
all
Nice
right.
to hear from you too.
Yeah. I was just about to move the screen up with my finger, but it's not a touch screen. I keep thinking it's my phone.
Right. Anyway, bye people. We're out.
Okay, guys.
All right, take it on,
Right,
people.
thank you anyway,
Right.
Haggins. You've been a pleasure, right?
Okay.
And you go. Good night,
See you
mate.
later, Gary.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
I'll turn it off now. Cheers. Right, leave the studio. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Don't work it too hard tomorrow.
Oh, what's that number?
I knew one would come up with a reasonable answer on things.
Yeah. It was kind of basically what I was going to say anyway, so.
Yeah.
You seem to be along the same wavelengths.
If anybody else would like to come up on the panel, you're more than welcome. And give your opinion why the world's gone crazy.
Oh.
What can we say after Womble dropped the truth about bombs?
What can we say after Womble's drops? Truth about bombs? Not what?
I think he's summed up the reason why the world's going.
Well, Heart of Zany says I might join your light later on this week if you are online. Not got Cam set up yet here.
I'm online every day at 7 o'clock, and then on Sunday I'm live at 9 o'clock.
Or you can be like me and be up 3 times in a live in 3 days in the same day.
Yeah. I am doing good, thank you very much, Baffle. It was nice to see you up on the panel.
Yeah, hope you have a nice birthday, mate. Or what's left of it. Heart of Zenny says good, so yeah.
You got a great dad there, Baffle, so look after him.
Yeah. No problem, Bashful. Went all quiet now, isn't it?
As soon as the celebrity disappeared, that was it. It went quiet, eh?
Yeah.
Womble started making YouTube quite good, didn't it?
Yeah, I'm just wondering what he should change his name to. Be good for thought.
We'll have to think. We're both in Perthshire, in a wee village called Errol.
Yeah. I was actually brought up in Dundee, but I was born in a place called Arbroath, which is further north, and moved down to Errol when I was 5.
You can on here because this channel's rated as adults only. But just put it in backwards so we can read it backwards.
Whereabouts, Heart of Zenny, did you come to Scotland when you've been that once?
No, well, yes, we did, yes. But I've lived in different parts of Scotland all my life, so we've only known,
Basically just after you moved here, Haggis, wasn't it?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've only known Gareth for about a year now,
Yeah.
and I might lose him.
Oh, you'll never lose me.
You'll probably be elsewhere though.
I'm going elsewhere, but I'll still be about.
Why didn't you just buy an old ambulance and do what Helen's doing? Because in Scotland we can live free to roam rules, as you know, so.
I don't know what Bashful's on about there.
I thought, because Diesel guy is not his real dad, he's his stepdad,
Oh, right, okay.
and he obviously doesn't like his real dad, so I get what he means.
I can kind of go on the same wavelength as him there because I'm in the same situation.
Yeah.
Deliberate and Galway, I think it was, so not too far up there.
Yeah. Hello, Crafting with Kirsty. How are you doing?
Excuse me.
I told them to put the swear word backwards.
Yeah, that's probably why I didn't understand that. It's funny because I usually read backwards too.
I don't mind swear words backwards. That's acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to come up, Crafting with Kathy, you're more than welcome. When will you
Yeah,
see
that's what it meant.
radio stuff then, Gareth?
Sorry?
When will you see your pal who's into ham radio stuff?
I'm not quite sure, but I can get a hold of them.
Mm-hmm.
Was it something you wanted in particular?
I would like to join the club and get somebody to help me do the course. So then I can
All right, okay. Right, yeah, I'll get in touch with him, see what he says.
How you
I'm
doing?
just finishing my lunch. That's all right. I just have a salad left.
We've just finished our dinner not long ago.
Yeah, I had my dinner just before 7.
Yeah.
What Bashful's asking Womble, new channel name should be YouTube News.
Yeah, well, Womble's Womble's News YouTube, yeah.
Hi, Maya Ellen. Excuse my voice, a bit cracked.
So I've heard from a guy that they're doing away with the dislikes and the like button on YouTube.
So you've just got the
comments.
Yeah.
So what's your opinion on the crazy world of 2020?
That was that. Where do I start?
Chrissy, isn't it? Is it Chrissy?
Yeah.
Chris is my nickname. Chris is my real name. Either or, I don't care.
So what's your opinion?
It's getting bad. I mean, someone need to take control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we know the government can't do it.
Yeah.
So why do they not let the people of the country decide? It was the same when about this Brexit situation. Why did they not let the country decide, the people who live in it?
Yeah.
All right, Bashal. Yeah.
Yeah, I know what it's like because
I know what that's like as well.
I wish we could be running it.
Yeah. Because it isn't them running it, yeah.
Well, it's like Vegan Realist was saying the Queen runs everything, but she doesn't even run the country anymore. It's the politicians, you know what I mean? It's not even the Queen, it's not even down to the Queen.
No, it's getting to the stage it's not even the politicians.
Right. It used to be the Queen had to do it, eh?
Yeah, you're right. They are the puppets. You're correct.
They're puppets, but they now basically run the UK. But the environment's getting damaged because of these puppets.
Hmm. Well, look at Donald Trump, for instance. He's wanting to start World War III.
Mm-hmm.
What does that say? It didn't. The Brexit didn't happen because of the government. It wasn't the people. It was the government.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do agree. Brexit is just a joke.
It's just a joke. Whoever come up with the idea should have been a jester rather than a politician.
Well, was it not Theresa May or somebody like that came up
Yeah.
with the Brexit thing?
Another Margaret Thatcher trying to run the politician, this country.
Yeah.
But we won't mention Margaret Thatcher. She killed a lot of this world. She killed a lot of the coal mines. She killed a lot of jobs. So what do you reckon America's going to happen over there in America? Do you think we'll get you'll go to a third world war, as everybody's saying, or not? Can you hear us still, Chrissy?
Yeah, I'm there.
So what do you reckon about Donald Trump?
I have no clue now. Lord.
Do you like Donald Trump, or do you think he should trump his Trump and go elsewhere?
I mean, I'm in the middle. Yeah, I mean, some things are not going the way I thought it would, but some are. Like, I would say, like, I'm in the middle right now.
Yeah.
Pelosi, I don't like. I'll state that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do agree. Things are going to get worse.
Uh-huh.
That next are going to get off because of Trump. Yeah, but I do agree with that as well.
Uh-huh. It all started on an environmental thing, and now we're all talking about politicians. But that's because the world is going crazy.
But then, if it wasn't for the politicians, the country wouldn't. What would the country do?
I know. So I was saying to I don't, Chrissy, do you ever go on to Lewis Fuller's channel?
Huh?
Lewis Fuller. He's a young lad and he's only 34, and he was on about the ozone layer causing all the fires over in Australia. And I put a comment in quite bluntly: if man hadn't invented car, we wouldn't be in that sort of predicament nowadays. And then we're talking about fossil fuels and everything, weren't we, Gareth?
Yeah.
That's the original reason why I said this world's gone crazy and now we're all talking about Trump.
I don't think, Ashwell, that the price of fuel went up because of Trump. I think it's going to go up anyway.
Yeah, it will do.
I mean, he has got a tribute towards it, yes, but it's a kind of a grey area.
It's like America calls it gas,
Yeah,
and we use gas as in the oven gas, you know what I mean? So,
well, you use gas for heating, so
yeah. And you.
yeah.
So what do you see your heating system over in America? Is it gas or propane?
You mean the logs? Or
When you get your heating in your sister in your house.
oh, air conditioning. Oh, like when it's winter and stuff.
Yeah.
Around here we use gas logs, and then we use the air conditioning thing like the heat,
Yeah.
like the heat strips or whatever it's called.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Bashful's on about that. Bashful's on about he's killed the person that owns the oil rigs. I don't know anything about that. Again, yeah, the World Bank, yeah, that's kind of what Womble was on about earlier on.
Yeah.
Oh, she's right on silent. I think we need to, yeah.
So how did your son get on with the doctor?
Okay, I'm here. My nose was acting up. Sorry about that.
He's on borderline with having a throat infection and a viral infection and what we thought it was.
Is that bronchitis?
Yeah, he's kind of 50-50 borderline.
Yeah.
So
it's off school for a wee bit then?
Well, he's got to be off tomorrow at least, and then see how he is on Thursday.
Uh-huh.
He might be able to go back to school on Thursday.
Uh-huh. It was on the news, my whole class, and said that all 20 weeks and I'm out of school.
All right.
Does that mean is he leaving school in 20 weeks?
He might be if he's just 16, then yeah, he could be.
Yeah.
Because I was left when I was 16.
And that doesn't mean you can be sitting playing computer games all day, Bashful.
No.
And I'm sure your dad will agree with me on that one. You'll be working your ass off.
Yeah, you should get him doing something with him.
Help him with the I know. He knows. Right. I'll find out from your stepdad. Don't you worry. We talk all the time. I've got to go to college. And if we find out you tried to pull the sneaky one, the sick card at college, and you're sitting on your butt, we'll find out from your stepfather.
What's he going to be studying when he goes to college?
That'll be interesting.
Luckily, I've got a few years before that happens with my one.
Computer.
Computing.
Yeah.
Good subject.
That's good pay once you get into the computer and stuff, isn't it?
Oh, it is if you're in a big computing company, yeah.
You're not going to university.
Alright, okay. Yeah, I just saw that.
I hope he gets a job after it as well. Yeah, again, that's down to this the crazy world we live in. Young people get out of school and college, and they don't always guarantee a job after it. You know.
I was just going to wait to say that. You took words right at my mouth. Especially with, well, I know up here, with all the companies closing down, there isn't much opportunity for jobs nowadays.
And I don't know if, like, in the summer months when you break up for college, you could get a job on a fruit market to earn some money for your college and all that. But well, that would be good.
They don't even hardly do that up here anymore either.
That's what you call a self-employed. So are you gonna go through the routes of what your stepdad does?
So is he going to do something like YTS then?
What's that?
YTS is a training group.
Yeah.
Oh, he said yeah. So.
So you'll be helping your stepdad in the summer holidays, I take it.
Yeah, it's a youth training scheme.
Yeah.
It's a good thing of, you know.
So he's going to help Diesel guy at his t-shirt printing.
Yeah.
So if there's any mistakes in it, we'll know where it's come from. Because Diesel guy doesn't make any mistakes.
At least if his printer breaks down again, he'll be able to fix it for him.
Yeah. He got his money back for that one.
Did he?
And they didn't want it back. That one which they sent the wrong one to him.
That sounds a bit dodgy.
Incompatible file system for his computer.
All right.
You're cheeky, this. Is it cheeky what he said?
No, it's probably cheeky what you said.
that's what happens when you become the age of what me and Gareth are. We get a bit more wiser. Who's Nightbot? That's Alexa's girlfriend. He's not doing his job right. He's getting fired shortly.
Who's Nightbot?
You've got Alexa as well, haven't you?
To me.
You've got Alexa. Chrissy, have you got Alexa as well, haven't you?
Yeah.
Do you have the smart light bulbs for the house? Have you got the light bulbs which run that off Alexa?
Not yet.
I've got them.
Bashful, what do you need to know about StreamYard?
Your dad knows quite well. Your stepdad knows a lot about StreamYard. If you want to ask him as well.
Never used it before. Diesel guy should be able to help you with that.
Mm-hmm. I use the Pro version, but it's all the same, eh?
Yeah.
I wonder where Just Mike is, Kirsty. Kirsty,
I have no clue, but I seen them in I'm not what I say, but I seen them actually in the other one. He was let's say he was being bad. Like always. I don't know where he is, but he may be lurking. Who knows? I don't care.
Channel. I said this before, right? We were all chatting. We said, "Where's Just Mike?" And the next minute, went, "Here I am."
Yeah, he was kind of lurking.
He's teaching lurking classes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know how to lurk myself.
Yeah.
I don't need no lurking class.
He's taught as well. You're not getting a mince pie. It's bad for your dog. He wants a mince pie. Can't give him a mince pie. Shut him up.
What was that?
I shouldn't give him one, but I'm going to give him one.
No, you shouldn't give a dog a mince pie.
No, you're not getting one. You're fat big. You're just a wee fatty, aren't you?
Give him a biscuit.
I'll get a biscuit later when I get up to make the coffee again.
Hey, I know how to bore Mike now.
Pardon?
I said I know how to bore Mike now.
Yeah.
You know how he don't like my Felton, right?
Yeah.
Every time he says Felton, he don't like it. If I'm on StreamYard or something, I'm gonna pull it out and make him bored. He's the one that said he don't like it.
I'll be back. I got a minute, Haggis. I've just got to take a phone call.
Okay. You're not getting that. You're not getting my mince pie. Do you know what mince pies are? It's a pastry with like fruit. That's what a mince pie is.
Oh.
You don't get them in America, do you?
What's it called?
Mince pie. The bits of dried fruit like raisins and sultanas in a pastry.
Hmm.
Basford's just turned 16 today.
No. We don't. When we have Mike and Richard, that's double trouble.
Yeah, that is trouble, yeah.
What you see is what you get from my hair. I'm naturally curly though. I didn't even brush my hair today. Who cares?
Yeah.
I don't care. If I was on a live or something, doing a live, I wouldn't even have my hair this way. So
I think a long shot, it don't last 5 minutes with me.
sometimes what you see is what you get. With me.
Yeah.
Haggis, I'm going to have to go, mate, because I've got something to do here. I've just had my mother on the phone.
Okay.
So I'll catch you tomorrow at some point, mate.
All right.
Right. Have a nice night.
I will.
Bye.
Well, I'm going to wrap it up now. I've been on for an hour and a half. But it was nice to have you up on my panel. I've had Mike up on there. Mike's been up on my panel once as well. Next time we'll get a group of us up here, hopefully, eh?
Yeah.
Well, I'll let you get on, guys, and I will see you tomorrow morning for the UK viewers there. You're welcome, and I'll catch you again, guys. Thanks for popping in, guys, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Cheers. God bless.